Hey, what's up, guys? Troy, ATXRC Production here. Hopefully soon, Austin Drone Space. Anybody's keeping up with me? Here we go. We took a G3 Jiyi gimbal and mounted it to solo. Took us 20 minutes. We did no modding other than a quick solder job inside, which was a matter of pulling the battery tray out, piggybacking right off the battery port where the battery plugs in. So I'm not getting any power from anything other than the battery, and it's not affecting solo internally. Um, that being said, you just saw me power it up. No mag interference. I don't know. I've heard people have had that issue with other gimbals. What did we do to mount it besides the solder job inside and tucking that power wire inside to power it? Well, the original gimbal plate for the upper plate on it had a control board sandwiched between the dampeners and the two plates. We literally moved that control board from above the plate to below the plate. Double-sided tape is all we did there. We did have to loosen up a couple of the gimbal motor wires and kind of get some slack to get it there. But besides that, we pulled the gimbal door off. We removed the entire GoPro gimbal setup. This is an internal gimbal plate. So the way that this gimbal works is it's actually dampened from the top and secured at the bottom. Most gimbals are secured near the top and dampened underneath. It's just unique to Solo in the way that they have it internal. It's great. It allows it to get sucked up in there, which is awesome. For now, the one thing a lot of people that are doing gimbal, trying to mount gimbals to Solo recognize is the gimbal mount is smaller on Solo than a typical plate. What could I do about that? Not a lot right now, and I wasn't trying to go into some crazy mods and build a new gimbal door plate or anything. So for me, I just wedged those gimbal dampener balls. I put them into Solo's door first, put the door back in, and then I slid the gimbal in and attached the gimbals on the outside. So what it did do is obviously they're a little tweaked and a little angled, but they're there and they're dampening. As you can see, it's stabilizing. It's doing its own thing. It is not hooked up to the Pixhawk whatsoever. And all right, well, magnetic interference there was the radio. It is not hooked up to Pixhawk. It is not hooked up to the GoPro feed. In order to get the GoPro feed, which I could do, I would just need to build a small low profile or buy a low profile GoPro AV cable. Plenty of people make them. I actually have the little raw mini USB female and males to where I can make all kinds of little cables for the FPV stuff, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and make one at some point if the gimbal for Solo doesn't come in the next week. Besides that, I'm happy with as far as dropping it in. The gimbal, the motor goes directly into the plate where the motor for the Solo gimbal does. And I'll be honest, man, this thing just kind of looks like it belongs once it's on there. It's a nice, clean setup. So as far as functionality, here comes the flight video. Just keep in mind, guys, this is a raw video, and I shot 3.5 minutes of it on purpose, and I left it all there. I wanted you guys to kind of see a couple different, movements. I didn't do any of the smart shots, none of that. I really wasn't feeling very comfortable with Solo right now. I do have a motor making some weird noise. It just doesn't sound 100% right, and I need to get with them on that. So I wasn't really trying to go too far. I also was taking off from the top of my parking garage. There's a nearby freeway. I know, guys, I was being safe. I had my hands on the sticks the entire time, ready to take control. And actually, I flew this thing in manual mode the entire time that I did. We took off in fly mode just to show that there was no magnetic interference. And then we went into manual mode, and we were just dipping around that way. I will say, this thing in manual mode drifts backwards a little bit. And I'm curious if 3DR is actually going to do a setup where once the gimbal is installed and it recognizes it, that it changes its tuning settings, its gain settings and PIDs and stuff to adjust for that extra weight. It's something I'm very curious about. It didn't drift bad. It definitely was drifting backwards, and it wasn't wind. It seemed like it was trying to overcompensate for the gimbal. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a one-off thing. Maybe it was the wind. I just couldn't tell. That's the Jiyi gimbal to Solo. Here comes the video. I did take a couple of quick pics too. Pictures look great from it, so it's a stabilized picture. I mean, there's nothing really to show there. ATXRC Productions, please check us out. ATX Drone Space, Austin Drone Space, something we're trying to get done on Kickstarter. Take a look. Anybody that can help out, please do. It's not just about here in Austin, guys. We're going to try to take this thing all the way across the country and who knows how far. So ATX RC Productions, ATX Drone Space, Austin Drone Space. Thanks, guys. Fly safe, fly smart, fly 3DR.